All right, let's do this summary real quick and get out of here, because there were some important things that were said, and I'm not going to cover it all. I like what JT said about the cycle. You know, we've all been through some things, and this was supposed to be for men, but it's applicable to everybody. We all go through cycles, and men go through different cycles because we're always trying to prove that we're a man. It starts when we're teenagers. We get a little fuzz on our lip, a little fuzz on our chest, and we think we're a man. We won't cut the grass. We won't trim the hedges. We won't do the dishes. But we think we're a man. And sometimes, because they're allowed to do it and get away with it, it sets up the pattern that he talked about. There are patterns of disrespect that are allowed in homes today. When you find children as young as 3 and 4 years old using profanity to speak to their mother, it sets a pattern, and it sets a dangerous precedent, because these are the ones that sometimes grow up and become the greatest abusers that we've ever seen. And I think so in being in church and loving God and trying to obey his word is great. But we have to have some practical application. And sometimes in a meeting like this, bringing men and women together and having those conversations, every family doesn't discipline the same way. And one of the things I was teaching in our church was simply this: quit telling your children that you're going to punish them. Discipline is what we use to correct unwanted behavior. Look at the vernacular. Child Protective Services come and they heard you say you were going to punish your child, and your child ended up with a mark that you didn't put on him, and all of a sudden, because they heard you say you were going to punish that child, automatically that's where their mind goes to. Punishment. Where did we get that from? I can tell you. Slavery. The master used to beat us to keep us in line. And most Africans I know don't use corporal punishment. And so where did we get it? We adopted it, we've used it, we thought we were getting results, but what we did was make our children angry. Yes. They become angry, they become rebellious. Switch gears to the prison system. Thank you, Elder Johnson. Because some of our young men that are being released back into the community have been victims of rape inside the prisons. And they're so proud that they're not going to tell anybody. So they come out, they're volatile, they're angry, they're explosive, and they don't know what to do with it. So they walk around pretending to be the man, and afraid that when the brother that comes out, who raped them, comes out and tells the story, then they'll be mistreated on the streets. There's a lot to unpack, and my heart goes out to Elder Johnson because it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of courage. And I believe that's the first step to deliverance, when we can share those experiences that we've had and help somebody else get free. Because there may be somebody here that was going through the same thing, that has been through the same thing. And you admire Elder Johnson at this moment because he had the courage to speak up and speak out. And you knew it was real, because what did we see? We saw the outpour of emotion, we saw the crying, we saw the emotional being upset. We know that's real. And we'll never know how many men are walking around like that. I'm blown away by the number of women who have been sexually traumatized. But guess what? The men are coming out and talking about their own trauma. And yes, we can pray, but how many of you know that faith without works is dead? So if you pray and you don't have faith and you don't put together any works, what do you think is going to happen? It'll have to be a miracle for God to deliver you. And that's why, even in the church, Bishop, even in the church, the divorce rate is just as high as it is out in that world. Amen. It is just as high. We got sisters suffering in silence. They don't want to mess up the preacher's reputation. That's deacon so-and-so. We're not going to say anything. So what do we have to do? We have to continue to pray, but then demonstrate the love of God. All right, let's go. We're not done, because we got to get out of here. Don't allow the absence of a father. And this is something I said a minute ago. I have a lot of men say, well, I didn't have a father. I didn't either, and I'm proud to always say that I didn't have one in my home either. But I had a mother who took on a role that really God didn't give her. Do y'all know that God never intended for the woman to be the father? He never intended for the woman to be the mother and the father, because women are usually nurturers. That wasn't his intent. But because our men have been absent, we have forced women to take on roles that they were never assigned to do. Let that sink in. And that's why when these boys get 6'5", 6'6", mama can't tell them nothing. I know about Samoans, and Samoans can be 6'6", but I tell you what, they've been down to let mother discipline them. They're one of the most respectful people I've ever seen and met in my life, are Samoans. And no matter how big they honor their mother and fathers. They honor them, all right? So, what a great session. We want to thank all of our speakers who have done a fantastic job. And I tell you, y'all understand why I have so much respect for Mr. Ferguson. Because at one point, he was the smartest man I knew. Is that right for me to say that? I admired him. He'd come into the office and I didn't know nothing about what I was doing at Pace OAR at that time. But he worked with me, he taught me, and we remain friends to this day. And I appreciate that. To Bishop, glad to see you. Glad to see you, because you know what? This is stuff we can take back and we can share it. And I know the recording is going to be out there. It's either going to be on Facebook Live or it's going to be somewhere. YouTube, it's going to be out there. And I invite you all to go and look at it and play it, replay it.